one intends to perform the sunan and you missed it, then of course due to sahwi, the prostration of forgetfulness will be performed. An example of that is if you intended to make the qunut and you omitted it, then of course you would make sujood to sahwi because it was part of your intention. Now, this evening we are starting with the hayat of salah, which are described as being your lesser recommendations. And if one misses these, there is no sujood sahwi for them. Okay? So the author states, وَهَيْئَاتُهَا خَمْسَةَ عَشْرَ خَصْلًا, that the lesser recommendations of the salah are 15. And I'll just look at two this evening, inshallah, in the interest of time. The author says the first one, رفع اليدين عند تكبيرة الإحرام وعند الركوع والرفع منه. The author says that the raising of the hands, the two hands, رفع اليدين, the raising of the two hands is the first one, and he mentions three instances when this will occur. عند تكبيرة الإحرام, your تكبيرة الإحرام, when you begin your salah. Secondly, وعند الركوع, when you perform your ruku', your prostration. والرفع, your bowing, sorry. والرفع منه, and when you come up from that bowing, when you come up from your ruku'. Now, this comes from the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم افتتح التكبير في الصلاة فرفع يديه حين يكبر حتى يجعلهما حذو منكبيه. So in this hadith we find that Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma says that he saw the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam raising his hands, and at these points as indicated, raising his hands when the Prophet ﷺ started the salah, as well as at the time of ruku' and coming up from the ruku'. What is really interesting here is that the Prophet mentions, or the hadith mentions, that the Prophet ﷺ raised his hands hadwa mankibayhi. Now, hadwa in Arabic means in the direction of his shoulders. So the scholars differ in terms of how high your hands should go. And so I want us to note these two opinions, inshallah. How high, when of course when you're coming up from your ruku' and you are now raising your hands, or generally when you are raising your hands, how high will they go? There are two opinions. The one opinion is that you are going to raise your hand for it to be level with your shoulders. And the second opinion, so if I demonstrate it quickly, level with your shoulders. So in the direction as the hadith indicates, but level with your shoulders. The second opinion is that level with your ears, your earlobes, okay? The Shafi'i opinion, Imam Shafi rahimahullah writes in Kitab al that it must be level with your shoulders. So the madhahib generally choose one of these. The Hanafi madhab chooses the opinion of the ear, that it must be level with the ear. So when it comes to Raf' al-Yadayn, it is raised at those points, inshallah. And then additionally, if we're following the minimum opinion, of course, found in the Shafi'i madhab, is that it must go at least as high as your shoulders. Then, in addition to this, the hands are raised at the beginning of the salah, your takbiratul ihram, as well as after your first tashahhud. So if you have a 3 rak'ah salah, or more, 4 rak'ah, then you are going to raise your hands with the third rak'ah. So you have 1, 2 tashahhud, and when you come up, it is in the sunnah to have it raised at that point as well. Then the second, hay'ah, as mentioned by the author, وَوَضْعَ الْيَمِينَ عَلَى الشِّمَالِ. And this comes from the hadith in Muslim عن وائل بن حجر رضي الله عنه أنه رأى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رفع يديه حين دخل في الصلاة ثم وضع يده اليمنى على اليسرى. He says that he saw the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم raised his hands when he entered the salah, and he placed his right hand on his left hand. Now, in the Shafi'i madhab, there are three views on how you place your right hand on your left hand. And so I will just go through them, inshallah. We generally accept that within the madhab, that your hands are going to be placed, of course, closer on your chest, above your navel. That is the positioning within the Shafi'i school of thought. But how do we do it? There are three views emanating from differing narrations, and I'll close with this inshallah. So the one view is that your thumb and your pinky will be over your left hand and it will clutch your wrist, and your three fingers on your forearm. So as I'm demonstrating here, inshallah, this is the one view. So when you do it, it would be pinky and thumb over the wrist and the three fingers on your forearm. That's the one way. The second view is that you take your thumb and your four fingers and you over your wrist. Okay? So no three fingers. That's the second view. And then the third view is that it is simply right hand on left hand. Okay? Right hand on left hand with no emphasis on where the finger should be. So those are the three views in the Shafi'i madhab, and those are the first two of 15, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan wa sallallahu wa sallam ala rabbil alamin.